So this question says, what numbers are found at the intersection of the sets of all prime numbers, even numbers, and integers? So first of all, I would exclude anything that has 1 or 0, because 1 is not a prime number and 0 is not a prime number. What is the definition of a prime number? Prime number is a number that you can get only by multiplying by itself and 1. Okay, so 1 is multiplying by 1 only. 0 you can get by multiplying by any number in the word, you're going to get 0. So the only one that uh, goes with this question, it's a prime number and an even number and an integer, is G. In the xy coordinate plane, what is the distance between the origin means 0 and 0, right? And the point with the coordinates 3 and -4. Remember the distance formula? We just need the distance formula. And remembering that, of course, the origin is 0 and 0. Now, according to the distance formula, it's root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. X2 minus x1. This question would be way easier if you just don't put the zeros that I added over here. If you just do 3 squared plus 4 squared under the root, you will get the answer directly, because there's no use of doing this. I just want to show you using the formula. So if you do using the formula, you're going to get, this is going to be, pretend these are x1 and y1 and these are x2 and y2. So -4 minus 0 all squared plus 3 minus 0 all squared. Your answer is going to be, after the root, is a root of 25, and so the answer is going to be 5. If it takes 360 degrees clockwise turns to screw in a light bulb and the same number of counterclockwise turns to unscrew it. So 3 turns of a 360 clockwise to turn the screw, and the same number, so 3 turns counterclockwise to unscrew the bulb. What is the total number of revolutions going in either direction, whether clockwise or counterclockwise, needed to fully screw and fully unscrew 13 light bulbs? So basically, I would definitely cancel 0 and 13, probably 26 as well. Anyways, 6 turns to screw and unscrew one bulb, right? 6 clockwise, 3 clockwise and 3 counterclockwise would fully screw and unscrew one bulb. So to get 13 bulbs, you just need to multiply 6 by 13, right? Because each bulb needs 3 clockwise and 3 counterclockwise, a total of 6. So for 13, you just need to multiply 6 by 13 and you will find the answer is 78. So for this question, if 7x plus 6y equals x, what is 2x plus 2y? Don't try to find x and y and bother yourself with these stories. You can basically just observe the question properly and try to take this x inside here. So it's going to be 7x minus x, right? 7x minus x is 6x. If you look at it this way, let's see what will happen. 6x plus 6y equals 0. Okay, but I don't want 6x and I want 2x plus 2y. Very simple. What will happen if you divide this whole equation by 3? If you divide this whole equation by 3, you are going to reach 2x plus 2y, and still it's going to equal to 0. So the answer must be G. If triangle XYZ is reflected across the x-axis, watch out, not the y-axis, the x-axis, what will be the coordinates of the reflection of point X? So they're basically just asking about point X, which is 4 and 6. What do you think after reflection on x-axis, which will change signs? X or y. When you reflect it on the x-axis, the x will stay the same. Basically, it's going to be somewhere here, and this is going to be the same for the x. It's going to be 4, but what will change sign? Instead of having a 6 over here, you will have a negative 6 over here, right? So basically, the answer is 4 and negative 6, which is E. What is the area of the parallelogram below in square units? Okay, what is the rule to find the area of the parallelogram? Area of a parallelogram is base times height. Okay, where is the base? This is the base. The base is 10. This is not the height, of course. It should be the perpendicular height. How will you find the perpendicular height? You can find it by Pythagorean, root of 5 squared minus 3 squared, or you can simply memorize that there's a special right triangle in which the legs are 3, 4, and the hypotenuse is 5. Now that you have the base as 10 and the height as 4, the area of this parallelogram is 40. As m goes through all positive real numbers from 0 to infinity, so m is from 0 to infinity, all positive real numbers from 0 to infinity. What happens to the value of the function of f of m equals 1 over m cubed? Okay, basically, take a look at the answers. I don't think it can be determined. Why? Approaches 1000 doesn't make sense to me. Let's imagine if I'm dividing by 1 to the power of 3, and then I'm dividing by 2 to the power of 3, and 3 to the power of 3 towards infinity, as they said. The bigger the number that I'm dividing one piece on those. Let's say I'm dividing on 1 million, I'm dividing on 1 trillion, and so on. What do you expect the answer to be? Will anybody receive any piece of that one candy, for example, or that one pizza? Of course, by common sense, you can try numbers. You have the calculator, you can try numbers, but doesn't need. The bigger this m is, the more this graph will approach 0. A map is on a scale 1 to 100 scale, and they explain the meaning that something that appears as 1 foot on the map is actually 100 feet long. But because we cannot draw a 100 feet long, they made this scale to be able to draw it on a map. If the map has a length of half feet, and width of 2 feet, how many square feet is the actual land area the map represents? Okay, so we said 1 represents 100. So 0.5 feet represents 50. 100 times 0.5. And the 2 feet represents 200. 100 times 2. Now, can you find the area, the real area? These are the real 50 feet and 200 feet. This is the real, this is the map. So the real area is 200 times 50, and so the answer is 10,000 feet squared. In this question, they said density is inversely proportional to volume. If the density of a solution is 5 grams per centimeter cubed and the volume is 10 centimeter cubed, what is the density of the solution when the volume triples? The volume triples means it's going to be 30, right? Okay, how will you deal with that? You cannot do cross multiplication because they are not directly proportional. They are inversely proportional. Instead, think about it this way. Density is mass over volume, or let's say 1 over V, inversely proportional. Okay, so whatever this is 1, or whatever the mass that I know, if I know D times V will always be the same. So I always think if they are inversely proportional, I'll multiply the density by the volume. It equals the other density by the volume. And that's going to be very easy for inversely proportional case. So I know 5 times 10 equals the density, which I don't know, times 30. What is this 30? It's 10 times 3. And so you can simply calculate the density, which is going to be 1.7, that is 50 divided by 30. What is the midpoint of negative 8 and 2, 10 and 2? Here is the midpoint formula. You are just going to add the x's together and divide by 2, add the y's together and divide by 2. And so your answer will be B, because this is going to give me 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. I would directly pick the answer that has 1 because all the rest do not have 1. Don't waste the time. And of course 2 plus 2 divided by 2 would give me 2.